guys, it's Nicole. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. I like to post about books and music, mostly Taylor Swift. This is about to be a very interesting video after an intro like that. So I recently got the notification of YouTube Music's first ever music recap. So they're pretty much like modeling this thing after Spotify Rewind, I think it's called. This is the first year YouTube Music has ever done a recap, I believe. I remember seeing something about how they gave it to a few users last year. I was unfortunately not one of those users, so now I finally get to see what my yearly recap looks like with my music, and it's interesting. I think there's definitely maybe like a learning curve they have to go through. They can't copy Spotify's algorithm like exactly. Things are a little bit weird, so we're going to be looking at this today. I see people getting some pretty strange results. Okay, let's look back on year 2022 in music. I listened to 26,049 minutes of music this year. My boyfriend only listened to like 14,000, I think. I don't listen to too much music anymore. Like I do when I'm in the shower and when I'm driving, but I work remotely, so like, I don't know, I don't end up playing it that much. And there was one artist who had it on lock. This is probably not going to come as a surprise to us. Taylor Swift was my #1 artist with 4,276 minutes streamed. That doesn't seem like that much, which is strange because I swear to God, she is like the majority of what I listen to. However, I do put my music on shuffle when I'm in the shower and I don't have control over what comes up. It's YouTube's like strange algorithm, and it ends up playing a lot of things that I'm not interested in, and I end up having to shout, "Hey Siri, hey Siri, hey Siri, skip, skip." I was in the top 0.1% of Demi Lovato listeners. I haven't even listened to her album that much, but it's flopping, and that's the reason. It has no rights to flop, honestly, but I think it sold, what was it, like 20,000 copies, which is absolutely pitiful, ridiculous, should not be happening. Holy fuck, was an amazing album. My top artists: #1, Taylor Swift. #2, Panic at the Disco. This is interesting. I do love Panic at the Disco. I've seen him in concert twice, but this last album didn't quite resonate with me that much. #3, Avril Lavigne. This is expected because of all of my reaction videos. I play all the songs through YouTube Music when I do my reaction videos, so I'm sure it takes into consideration like me playing an entire album from front to back. #4, Demi Lovato. #5, Fall Out Boy. Oh my god, I miss Fall Out Boy. They haven't released new music in so long, so the fact that Fall Out Boy is on there feels pretty authentic because, you know, there wasn't any new album that I went through just to hear it and ended up not liking it. Like with Panic, I did listen to an entire album by them this year, but it just didn't hit. With Fall Out Boy, I was listening to all of their old stuff. One song truly defined my year. You guys are gonna laugh at me. Edamame by BBNO $. I listened to this song purely for Rich Brian. I love his song History. Also, there was an album by him that my boyfriend and I were obsessed with and we were listening to. I think it's a newer one, but yeah, Edamame fucking slaps. I listened to it 65 times. I also listened to this cool remix, Love Story Taylor's version, Elvira remix. That remix slapped. I am not ashamed to admit it. My mom kept calling it the aerobic version. I actually love when she does remixes. Like, I've been living for all the anti-hero remixes. I just wish the Millennium one wasn't so strange. Like, the verses are amazing and the chorus is like so loud and weird, but yeah, I love a good love story remix. My top tracks. This is where I feel like this algorithm needs some improvement. #1, Edamame. That makes sense. I did listen to it a lot, especially in the very beginning of the year. #2, Viva Las Vengeance. That song's okay. It's a pretty good lead single. #3, Sugar Soaker by Panic at the Disco. I fucking hate this song. Like, I don't want to hate it because it sounds fun music-wise, but the lyrics are like disgusting. It freaks me out. I can't tell if he's talking about a woman or a car, and it just gives me the ick. But it's my third most listened to song, and I'm kind of pissed about that, if I'm being honest. #4, Lay All Your Love on Me by ABBA. Not really too surprised by this. #5, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Yeah, I had a huge revelation during my Glass Animals review video because I didn't realize what this song was about. It contains some pretty heavy content matter that you don't realize until you really, really look at the lyrics. It's rough, but it's so good. It's incredible. And it slaps. Glass Animals album, what was it called? Dreamland. Amazing album. However, I don't understand how Taylor Swift is my top artist, but I don't have a single top track by her. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how that works. Why is my top artist not Panic at the Disco if I supposedly just love Sugar Soaker? My most listened to genre, pop music. 45% of my music was pop, 30% was independent, 10% was rock, 2% was children's music. I can't figure out what this is. I'm like so confused because I don't have any children's music on the playlists that it generated for me for my 2022 recap. Sometimes I do like to listen to Disney, but I didn't do that at all this year. So I just have no idea what that could possibly be. And 1% was rhythm and blues. I feel like that's got to be like some Lizzo, especially the last few weeks since I reacted to the special album. That's got to be Lizzo, but only 1%. But it also feels like maybe they haven't accounted for the last couple months, especially considering that nothing on Midnights is in my top 5, and that's like all I've been listening to for the last 3 months. Like, I've stopped putting my music on shuffle when I get in the shower, and I just turn on the Midnights album. Some people follow trends, but you start them. I was considered a trendsetter, so it gives you kind of like a personality analysis of how you listen to music. So trendsetter, because I listened to Glass Animals when they had only 506 million streams. I have been a fan of Glass Animals since like 2016-ish. I'd known of them since probably 2015 because some of my friends were into them, but I didn't really like their earlier stuff. I really liked Golden Antlers. That was like the one song that really stuck out to me, as well as Gooey. And then once I heard How to Be a Human Being in 2017 or 16, that's when I became absolutely obsessed. And then watching their success with Heatwave was just like surreal, especially seeing Taylor Swift use their song in a TikTok. That was like, I don't know, I just felt like this excitement as if it was me, but it's not me, it's literally Glass Animals. I'm also so full of regret that I didn't go see them when they came to Tulsa in 2015 because I wasn't as big of a fan then, so that's super disappointing. They now currently have 1.3 billion streams and counting, so I was very ahead of the curve. This really stroked my ego. Ready to go deeper, let's explore your music personality type. So wait, am I a trendsetter or a trend follower? 77% of the songs I listened to were hits. I like this visual they give me of this like huge bouncy ball on this seesaw. Most of my songs were on trend. 77 is a good number. And then just like a little tiny bit of deep cuts. That confuses me though, because like I was listening to Folklore and Evermore like crazy. Well, I guess it considers those more hits than deep cuts just because they're so popular, even if they are like sad girl music. I stay loyal to my faves. 70% of my listening was songs on repeats. Yeah, because honestly the shuffle feature kind of sucks. It does not give me anything I've ever heard before, or even stuff that I'm that interested in hearing again. That's definitely my like critique of YouTube music versus Spotify, is like it doesn't seem to know who I am or what I want. I kept the energy high this year. 63% of my music was amped up. I want to see examples. Why can't it give me like songs that show this? Because as I said, Folklore and Evermore I listen to like crazy. My music personality is the beats boss. I lead the trends and always keep the party amped up, so I'm on trend, loyal, and amped. Upbeat stuff on repeat that is on trend. That makes me sound so fucking boring. Yeah, it's so strange to see my top artist being Taylor. Well, I mean, that makes sense, but like it's strange to see that and none of her songs are in my top 5. I guess maybe it considers how much I listen to Midnights and that's what bumped her up to the top, but it doesn't comprehend the fact that like the last 2 months have been all Midnights. I don't know, it's strange. Now I would like to look through some of my playlists that it generated from this year. Oh, it gives me a musical photo album. Okay, so winter, Edamame. Spring, Edamame. Summer, Viva Las Vengeance. Fall, Sugar Soaker. I fucking hate that for me. This is weird. This is weird. Okay, my 2022 recap playlist. So I've got a lot of Ukrainian music because the war started this year and it was a surge of patriotic music. Yeah, I fell down that rabbit hole. We got Edamame again. Okay, so it shows my top 5. Wait a second. I know for a fact I listened to Oyu Luzi, Chervona Kalina way more than Sugar Soaker or even Viva Las Vengeance. Why is that not in my top 5? We've got some Fleetwood Mac and it shows the songs on Midnights. Bejeweled is top 8. I guess we have a little bit of Marina, August off from Folklore, Vigilante Shit, Lavender Haze, Miley Cyrus, the Plastic Hearts album, Carolina by Taylor Swift. We have Avril Lavigne's Love Sucks album making a lot of appearances. The Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin', Misery Business by Paramore, Check Yes Juliet, Bust a Move by Young MC. I found that like I think over the summer again. I rediscovered that song because it was the song that I had to dance to for this hip hop class I took when I was like 8. Somewhere Only We Know by Keen, a little bit of Billie Eilish, more ABBA, Lana Del Rey, Season of the Witch. I went through a huge Season of the Witch phase in October. Stevie Nicks, Turning Page by Sleeping at Last, more Twilight soundtrack. Wild Wild Woman by Yor Smith. That is such a good song, not many people know about. The Beatles, Here Comes the Sun. Livin' La Vida Loca, Mambo No. 5, Because I Liked a Boy by Sabrina Carpenter. I still need to react to her album. Ophelia by the Lumineers, some Arctic Monkeys, Queen, Phoebe Bridgers. That makes sense, for sure. My fall recap is like entirely just like Midnights. So, I mean, and Season of the Witch. Midnights and Season Season of the Witch. A little bit more Ukrainian stuff. A lot of Demi's most recent album, Hold My Hand by Lady Gaga. The only thing I really liked about the whole Top Gun franchise. Summer 2022 recap. So this is a huge mix of stuff. I have The Wisp Sings by Winter Aid. Oh my god. Because I was overheated and I wanted to listen to something that would like cool me off mentally. Summer is really all over the place. I went back to Fearless Taylor's version. I was listening to About Damn Time a ton. I have Angel Eyes by ABBA. I was obsessed with that. I got into Harry Styles a little bit. Daylight is on there. Demi's most recent album. ICU by Demi Lovato. I also really love Dancing with the Devil. A little bit off of Reputation. It's really all over the place. And then also Cruel Summer. Chinese Satellite. Fuck, that's my favorite Phoebe Bridgers song. I rediscovered Force of Nature by B. Miller. This makes sense. The playlists are making sense. And my spring recap. Ukrainian stuff. Edamame. Yep, that was the beginning of the year. Boyfriend by Dove Cameron. As It Was, Harry Styles. A lot of Love Sucks. Yeah, because Love Sucks came out in February, so I would have been still very obsessed with it by the spring. Spring is also really hectic. Gimme 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 A Man After Midnight by ABBA. Nightingale by Demi Lovato. A lot of stuff off Fearless Taylor's version again. It just feels like a very springtime album to me. Poplar Street by Glass Animals. Turning Page, Sleeping at Last Again. That kind of bled into summertime. A little bit of old Fall Out Boy stuff. Souvenir by Avril Lavigne. One of my favorite Avril Lavigne songs. And yeah. As I said, I do have criticisms of the algorithm as far as the slideshow goes because the top 5 just doesn't make much sense. They need to take into consideration how much I was listening to Midnights because I didn't listen to a whole lot of music this year and Midnights definitely took up most of it, as you can see on my playlist of Fall Time. The playlists are nice. They make a lot of sense. I think I'm going to favor those a little bit more than the shuffle feature just because shuffle gives me things that I'm not really that interested in. And yeah, I'll probably just be listening to my Fall 2022 playlist. Hopefully, since that's only like 50 songs, once it ends, it will feed me stuff that make a little more sense for the kind of stuff I like to listen to. It can definitely be improved, but since this is the first year they're doing this, like fully, not too bad. You know, they're really copying a lot of the Spotify features, I believe, with like your music listening personality, but I'm happy we finally have something as YouTube music listeners. I use my boyfriend's YouTube premium thing because I don't want to pay for my own, and not having ads on videos is really nice. So yeah, I would love to hear what your either Spotify or YouTube music, or if you use something else that I'm unaware of, if you want to share it, your top 5 songs of this year. I would love to hear all of them. This is a very fun, exciting thing to wrap up the year. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, it is right here. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, that is right here. And I will see you all in a couple of days, I believe. Not completely sure when this is going to go up, but yeah, until then, I hope you have an amazing day and I will see you then. Bye guys.